I'm Grendel Khagah, and this is a little guide for Pathfinder and bookmarking. Now, I'll be covering 4 topics. Our alphanumeric system that we use as the naming format for bookmarks that have to do with wormholes, bookmarks in general, especially how we use them, and then I'll go into reading Pathfinder and updating Pathfinder. Now, the alphanumeric system is just a way to name bookmarks for wormholes. It's a system that is all about pipelines and then expanding those pipelines. And the way it works is that each wormhole out of your hub, your home system, is its own pipeline, and each pipeline gets its own letter. In our wormhole, we have 2 statics. So A and B are reserved for those 2 statics. And finally, we'll see the format here. Let's assume you're in hub and you want to go to the C chain. You go from H to C. Where you're at, where you're going. It's covered right now, but we can also see star home is the bookmark name for any wormhole heading back to hub. I have a couple examples here. In the bottom right hand corner, we can see our hub right in the center. And we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pipelines. If you haven't noticed, the C pipeline is missing. It has died off. That is fine. But we can see this pipeline is named A. This pipeline is named B, E, G, and D. If you notice down here, E goes to E1. We'll go into that later. It's about growing the pipeline. But if we look up here inside our locations, this is inside hub. And these are the locations given to me. A, D, E, F, and G. Now, this one does not have to do this one, so I do not correlate them, but D, chain, from hub, gives me the option to go from hub to D. It also has D tactical. So D and D, this is the tactical of D. It's 200 kilometers off that D wormhole. This is inside G, which is right here. It gives me the options to go from G to G1, which we'll go into later, but G1's right here. Gives me the option to go to GK1, G, known space, 1, which is right here. And then also gives me the option to go GK2, which is going to be right here. This little image over here is a prime example of proper bookmarking wormholes. For any other anomaly, you want to save location from the probe scanner. Therefore, you will not set off any triggers. But for wormholes, if you save the anomaly location from the probe scanner or the actual anomaly when you warp to it, you're going to save a location that's about 6 kilometers off the wormhole, which is no bueno when you're trying to warp to 0 and you end up 6 kilometers off. But this one right here, we can see it's perfectly in the center, and that's because they right-clicked, save a location, and then put in the alphanumeric name. Now, when building the tree, any pipeline that grows from it, or path that grows from it, goes 1, 2, 3, 4, with 1 being the first found, 2 being the second found, 3 being the third found. They're in no particular order other than from which they were found. We'll see later that they make no sense when you see E to E2 to E4 to E22. How did you get there? It's just the number found with their corresponding alphanumeric names. You need to look at Pathfinder to then navigate. I know if I need to go to G1, I have to go to G to G1. Now G1 is a very simple one because it's guaranteed to be a direct path. But let's say G2. Maybe G2 was added after to here because it was the second wormhole found in the chain, but it was found in G1. Or maybe after finding G2, you came back to G, found another wormhole, and named it G3. So home to G3 makes no sense, but when you look at Pathfinder to navigate, it makes perfect sense. And again, I have the locations example of the G chain, what they all look like. G to G1, G to GK1. Notice here, this is a mistake. It needs to be G. G to GK2. Again, mistake. It's fine. It's supposed to be G. We know that. And then remember, star home. If I'm in any of these systems and I need to go back to hub, I warp to star home, and I'll get that wormhole that gives me straight back to home. Now, special mentions. In the other previous slide, you saw the GK1. G, known space 1, is the first known space connection inside of G. That's how that works. Chain, K, number, GK1. I actually forgot to mention, right here, all this added information is not required. It is up to you, the mapper. If you're the first person there and you're bookmarking this and setting it up for everyone else, if you want to include added information, it is up to you. The only thing I think we require is if that it's a frigate wormhole, you know, small only, please put frigate or frig. And that lets everyone know that if you warp to there and you try to use this wormhole and you're inside a medium ship, you won't be able to fit through. It's just a heads up. So that's the alphanumeric system. And as I mentioned, we'll be looking at a way big, broader system or a map of the Pathfinder, which shows the E chain and extents. And the E chain goes all the way up to 30, I think. And this makes perfect sense only if you're using Pathfinder to navigate. So now bookmarks. Bookmarks are categorized into two different systems, the chain and the site. The chain is reserved for anything that builds upon the chain. So H to B, B to B1, B1 to B7, doesn't matter. Tacticals can also be included in here to keep it nice and tidy. Sites, on the other hand, are just for sites. You do not include combat sites because combat sites do not need to be bookmarked to warp to. You can use the probe scanner to warp to any combat site you want. But let's say you warp to a combat site and you cleared it, and you have no intent on cleaning out that loot. You can save that location of the site or your MTU and name it salvage 1, and then, you know, look in the location, see if someone already put salvage 1, then name it salvage 2, and so forth. And you can save that in there so someone else can come back and see, oh wait, there's salvage out there I can hit? I'm gonna go get that. And they can warp right to it. And just a friendly reminder, when saving anomalies, excluding wormholes, when saving just any other anomaly, do not warp to them. You will set off an activation timer. These activation timers will, for gas sites, will spawn sleepers in like 10 minutes or so. They'll cause waves to happen, or they'll also cause the timer of the life of that site to start, which is normally like more than 2 days. So it might not really matter too much because we won't see that wormhole in 2 days, but still just save the wormholes, not the wormholes, save the sites from the probe scanner. Save the wormholes from warping to them and right-clicking save. So here's two examples. We have the chain, we have the sites. In the chain, we have everything to do with the chain, and in the sites, we have all the sites. Notice here, we see D, and then the given name from Eve when you save location. The way we do it is when you save location, you click to the front, you add the type, D for data, R for relic, G for gas, space, and leave the given name. The given name includes the type, so we can look up this data site will give us information on what's there. The ETU will save us information on the anomaly, ID, and so forth. And when we have 5 data sites, having the D in the front will keep all of them grouped together and nicely organized. Okay. So in a chain, if you're inside B1 and the second wormhole has not yet been found inside the B chain, and you find it, you warp to it, you save the location by right-clicking, save location of that wormhole. You name it, where you're at, where it's going. It's going to B2, but you haven't yet gone through there. You now warp through it and you find out, wait, this is a G to connect. This is known space. You can go back to people and places and edit the location in there, or when you warp back the way you came, you can right-click the bookmark and edit. Make sure that if you ever find a known space, to make sure you name it the known space format. Do not keep it with this format. As I mentioned, D for data, G for gas, R for relic. If there's a gas site, G, the given name. That's it. Now the slash system. The slash system is mainly used for gas sites, not so much relics, because you know if it's a relic site, or not a relic site, a data site, and it says unsecured, you know there's going to be sleepers there, so you don't really need to use it for that. But what it means is 1 slash means sleepers on site, 2 slash means sleepers have been cleared. If you go to a gas site and you're huffing, and sleepers spawn on you and you have to warp out, go to the location, edit it, and add a slash. This will let everyone know that this system, this site, go away, go away, go away. This site has not yet been triggered. This site, which is being covered right now, has been triggered. Oh my god, go away. By the way, we can see that that 1 backslash with a G means that there's going to be sleepers there. So if I'm out looking for gas sites to huff and I show up and I see that, I know I can't go there without being attacked. But then if I see in the bottom left-hand corner the 2 slashes, I know that someone has already came, cleared the sleepers out, and it's safe for me to just sit there and hope to not be ganked. So that's the slash system, and as I mentioned, it's mainly used for gas sites. I'll bring up here again, why do we use the GGR? It just keeps it very organized. When you have 10 plus sites, you just want to look at the data sites, you can see D, and all of them are grouped together. You want to look at the relic sites, see R, they're all grouped together. The gas sites, same. And when you use the backslash, it'll actually put it at the top of the list. So you could see if there's cleared gas sites or endangered gas sites, you know, dangerous ones. It's very well organized. So now time for Pathfinder. Pathfinder is pretty hard for some people. They look at it and it's very taunting. But Pathfinder offers a lot of benefits. And the main one, as a user of it, you can get instant content by just looking at Pathfinder. If you click any system on Pathfinder, I click any of these systems, click it, and then right beneath the map, I'll show you guys later, will show up with any signatures in it. But do note, Pathfinder only updates the connections and the system. It does not add the signatures within it. It does not add any structures in it, doesn't add anything else. It just populates the map. And here's a good example. I mentioned earlier about the chain, so let me talk about it a little more. We start at hub and we go to E. I can see from E, E1, E2, E3 is gone, which means it probably died off, or maybe it got added somewhere else. Who knows? But as we go from E1, it goes to E7. The numbers just mean the whatever nth found. So this is the first found, second found, fourth found, 12th found, 28th found. And you have to refer to Pathfinder to navigate. So if I want to go to 31, I need to know hub, E, E6, E31. So that's how you navigate Pathfinder, or using Pathfinder. You always update Pathfinder, we'll cover that later, but you always make sure you update the name with the corresponding alphanumeric system. So now each system, as I showed earlier, you can click on them. And they show active effects beneath when you scroll down on Pathfinder. We'll go into that for a second, but now let's just look at what information it gives me by just looking at it. It gives me the C class, the name we give it, which coincides with our alphanumeric system. It shows me any active effects, so like a wolf riot, black hole, or anything, and it lets me know what static connections it has. This one is guaranteed to have a C3 and a C4 static connection. This one's guaranteed to have a low sec static connection. That's just by looking at it. Now, all other features within Pathfinder, you have to actually click on the system to receive that information. And here we can see it is highlighted with that kind of halo, and that lets us know that is the system we have active. Now, certain things we can do are routes, signatures, and stations. with stations being the least used, signatures being the most used. As mentioned, the most used is signatures, and the way you update the signatures, if you're in System X and you Control A, Control C inside your probe scanner, you can then go to Pathfinder and Control V and it'll update all the signatures. But as a user, I can just look when someone has updated it. I can look and see everything about that system. I want to go do some ore today. Boom, ore. I want to go do some gas today. Gas site. I want to do some combat today. All right, I got a fortification frontier. I got a outpost. It's this instant capacity to have content. Whatever you want to do, you can quickly look where it is. You don't have to go to any system and scan things down. If someone has already done it, that means the whole corp has done it. Now, let's note here, this shows the created. When someone updates Pathfinder with the signatures for the first time, it'll give you a created note. It'll also give you an updated. So if I go there now and I update Pathfinder by Control A, Control C, probe scanner, come here and I click this button, it's called the lazy delete, and I update it by pressing Control V, all these will become 0 because it's been updated 0 seconds ago. Any system, or not system, any anomaly that is no longer there will get deleted. Any anomaly that wasn't there earlier will be created, and those created ones will have a created time of 0 seconds. Now, I note here, if you go and you click on a system and it has no signatures, that means the person who went in there did not copy paste into here. That is not an error of Pathfinder, it just means the person did not update it. The Routes tab. So the Routes tab is very useful when you want to access any trade hubs. As you can see here, our corporation, we keep all the trade hubs on the routes. Using this little spyglass, you can add other systems. You can add any system. You can even add other J spaces, and it'll let you know if you can get there or not. Yeah, that's the trades route. You can click this button, and it'll give you the safe one. By default, Pathfinder chooses the shortest route. As we can see here, I have a low set connection. But if I click this, it'll give me the safest connection, if possible. And if you hover over these, it'll give you the name. Now do note, all these little circles, which are wormholes, the name it gives you is the J name. So if I want to navigate to Dixie, which is this, I'm best off hovering over this one. I can get the name of that system. I then would refer back to the map in Pathfinder, find this system, and then navigate it myself. If this system is EK7, I know I need to go to E, then maybe E4, then maybe E7's there. I don't know. EK7's there. I don't know. But hovering these and figuring out, it'll give you J names and it's useless. You need to look for the system here and then refer to the map. Structures, this is the least used tab, but it's there for use. I mean, if you want to use it. In that system, if you use your dscan, you can copy paste your dscan and paste it here, and it'll log all the structures found in that system. Now, a couple footnotes. As I mentioned, you can use the safest. So this one I would click safest, and it'll give me the safest route. It would try to ignore that. But if you want to add another system, let's say we want to add Komi here, I would click that spyglass that was there. This window would pop up. I get the option shortest secure. I typically click shortest. Thera and bubbled are always checked by default. Decheck these. It'll give you the shortest route, which includes going through Thera. And if you don't know what Thera is, it's a dangerous wormhole place that is... you do not want to go through there. So decheck those, then you click search route, and your new result will show up right beneath. Now updating Pathfinder. Finally. There's two aspects when updating Pathfinder. You have adding things to the map, and then updating information about those systems. When it comes to adding things to the map, when you warp through a wormhole, it will actually update it and put it on the map for you. If G1 has not yet been found, this doesn't exist, and I am in G, and I warp through a wormhole and end up in this system, which I have not yet named, it'll have a random name, it'll pop up on Pathfinder for me, automatically give me this connection, and all that's done for me. What do I have to do now? I have to update Pathfinder by double-clicking the name and giving it the appropriate alphanumeric name. I also have to right-click, which will give me this prompt, right-click the connection and put the ship size and any mass status information, any EOL information. This purple, by the way, means that that line is EOL. It's going to die soon. Now, what shows up here randomly? Well, let's say 2 days from now, we no longer have the G chain and it just dies off and we discontinue it. But 5 days later, we find this actual same system. It'll keep the same name. So the random name that shows up when you find new systems is the old name. You need to update it to whatever the new system is right now. If it gives you a J name, that means we've never been there before in our life. So that's kind of exciting, but I don't think it'll happen too often. You know, the footnotes I put, no. So as I mentioned, the mass status and the ship size. Here's red, orange, and we can see the kind of gray. Gray is standard, it's good. Orange is reduced, red is critical. We can see here, going through ship size, we can put M or L, medium, large. We can also put small, and there's also XL, but those only ever occur between two C5s or to a C6. They don't ever occur from C5 to C4 or anything sub C4, you know. They're only C5 plus. Now these features too have to be manually updated. They're not an automatic thing. They are user inputted. Just like the name is a user input, these are a user input. The connection itself will be generated automatically, but the status of that connection is not generated automatically. Now, I talked about it earlier, but I'm going to go into a little more. How do you actually update the signatures within a system? Well, you click on that system on the map that you want to update. I assume you're in that system. You do Control A, Control C inside the probe scanner window. You go back to Pathfinder. You click the lazy delete button, circled here, and you press Control V. It'll update everything. If something is no longer there, it'll be deleted. If something needs to be refreshed, it'll get a refresh of 0. If something's new, it'll be created and added in. So that's how you update signatures in Pathfinder. Here's just the photo again. We see the A chain, the B chain, the E chain. And let's do a couple mental thoughts. I want to go to Laslin, that's a horrible name. I want to go to Gamel. EK3, Gamel. I'm at Hub. Actually, no, let's say I'm at B2. And I want to go to Gamel. How do I get there? Well, A, I reference Pathfinder. And I look. All right, well, I need to go here, I need to go there, and then I need to go here and there. Well, how do I get there? Well, these first two, 1, 2, are guaranteed to be star home. Star home is how you get to home. Now I'm in home. I need to go to E, so H to E. I need to go to E1, so E to E1. Now I need to go to EK3, so E1 to EK3 Gamel. I am now in Gamel. If I find a new wormhole, and it just spawns here, it's the new one. When they originally mapped it, it didn't exist, now it exists. And I find this wormhole, I'm going to add it here, and it's going to be right here. What do I name it? Well, looking at this map, it's not zoomed all the way out. There might be a bigger number, but the biggest number I find is 34. The name of this would be 34. So yes, you can have H to E34. It wouldn't be 34, it would be 35. Is the 35th wormhole found inside the E chain. It gets the name 35. So yeah, they get pretty complex. If we look around, we can see this is a medium connection. This medium connection is EOL. None of them are critted. There's another EOL down here. These circles, if you right click the actual name or the tag, you can add certain things. Blue is friendly, green is safe. There's no reds, but oh, here's a red. Red means there's enemies there. And I believe that covers Pathfinder pretty well. Sorry I didn't walk through it inside Pathfinder. I didn't want to share any like links or anything accidentally, so I did screenshots. I hope it helps you suffice. When you have Pathfinder open, hopefully you're watching the video and you can sit there and practice and click buttons. Don't be afraid to just right click a connection and edit it, because you can just re-edit it back. You can name a system enemy and then rename it non-enemy. So go ahead, practice those things. When changing a name, just practice it. Remember the name so you can change it back. And fly safe.